Now let's take a look at impulse control fries.
As you can see here, the impulse control fries is the food that definitely should be taken by someone, especially a student with attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD. For those who aren't really familiar with ADHD, it is in fact a state and not a disease, mind you. ADHD is defined as an inability of students in regulating their emotions, behaviors, and their actions in daily lives. This ultimately becomes a problem in the classroom, because students diagnosed with this condition may risk being a menace in class, since they are prone to interrupt others, rush through work, and lose focus in a lesson. You guys can refer to the red writing for the keywords, yeah? Just in case you have trouble remembering. Okay, now let's take a look at the video.
Why do you think the teacher is scolding the student?
Let's relate it to our context. The teacher is scolding the students because he's talking out of order. What he's doing is a result of the condition. And eventually, if intervention did not reach him in time, it will result in him missing the point of exactly what is being taught. This leads to a situation in a classroom where the focus of other students will be split between him and the teacher, thus putting a hole in the teacher's efforts of achieving the learning outcome designated for the lesson. Okay, so you guys might be wondering who exactly is the handsome man on the second slide. Let me tell you a bit about him and how he's important in the making of the fries. This man right here, his name is Barry Zimmerman, and he's the pioneer behind regulated learning theory. According to him, regulated learning theory is quite important for students diagnosed with this condition, as it helps them in their effort of regulating their emotions, behaviors, and thoughts. Honestly, I would go as far to say that eating the impulse control fries is equal to applying his methodologies. Let's put it simply. We, as educators, would have to employ what he has proposed in order to provide the students with the deterrent necessary to conquer themselves. In the end, this turns students diagnosed with the condition into more functional versions of themselves, making the learning outcome able to be reached at a greater magnitude.
Now, let's take a look at social cognition curve.
Much like the impulse control fries, the social cognition curry is the perfect food for someone with a certain condition, of which this time it being SPCD, Social Pragmatic Communicative Disorder.
Let's get to the point. What is SPCD?
SPCD is defined as the state in which students are unable to engage in the social aspects of their school life. Namely, they would have trouble during articulation of ideas, making friends with other students, and working as well as collaborating with others. To solve this, let's look at what Albert Bandura has to say in the context of his social learning theory. This man right here, his name is Barry Zimmerman, and he's the pioneer behind regulated learning theory. According to him, regulated learning theory is quite important for students diagnosed with this condition, as it helps them in their effort of regulating their emotions, behaviors, and thoughts.
Give me a focus for a second. The perfect curry is a blend of multiple herbs and spices, hitting just right to make your taste buds tingle, right?
The various ingredients in social cognition curry represents the plethora of individuals working together towards one goal. This leads to effective communication and learning when integrating individuals such as these, both for the people involved and them themselves. Just think about it. Even back in schools, you've been grouped by a teacher before, right? Maybe during a completion of a task or a sports event at school. What this ultimately does is help students in dealing with this issue. For example, students who are not in groups will have trouble expressing their thoughts and opinions since they aren't really that exposed to the large population of other students in the class who choose to do so. Students who are in group, in the other hand, are at an advantage here. They are able to mix and match ideas that both belong to them and other students into a larger collective set of information, able to be used to solve the problems of the day.